Hello everyone, it's the start of another week, and last week was a pretty busy news week, so I figured, hey, it's probably a good time for another news roundup just to cover everything that I have missed out on. And before we begin, congratulations to Blaster for returning to movies, for the first time since 1986. Good on you. Keep it up, keep auditioning, keep your head in the clouds. You'll make it someday. It's just a fun little cameo in Chippendale. Incidentally, Optimus Prime's leg showed up too. Not even sure how or why. But let's talk about actual Transformer news. I just want to get that out of the way because I thought it was funny. And we're going to start where we have to start. Someone got their hands on Legacy slash Velocitron Voyager class Override. So this one turned heads very quickly because every rumor mill I saw said that this was going to be a remold of Hot Rod. And I would completely expect that because that mold really hasn't been reused yet, and it's a pretty intensive mold to get only one use out of. But here, no, this swerved everybody. We have a very, very faithful Cybertron Override redo. Now, I was talking in the past about could a new version of a character even beat the original at this point because of budgetary changes, material changes, etc. But in this case, yes, Cybertron Override is a fun figure, but a very gimmick-heavy figure, and much to her detriment. Or his detriment if you got Nitro Convoy out of Japan, I should mention that. This, however, this is beautiful. Someone in the design team loves Cybertron. This is a very, very loving figure and send up to the original. Look at the proportions. Look how clean she is. Barely a backpack on her. Really none. The proportions look spot on. She looks look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that animation model accuracy right there. Looking so much better. Vehicle mode looks nice and sleek. Still has that head peeking out, but that was her thing. That's just her original design, so we're not going to begrudge the visible head here. Yeah, even has her original weapon. No cyber key activation this time, but the weapon is there. Still seems to store on the back if you want it. Seems to come with blast effects, which replicate her boost that she actually did do in the show. So that's how they're bulking it up, and that's probably a decent reason why, because we can see that it is bigger and beefier than Hot Rod is, but she is still going to come in at a pretty small Voyager. We see the comparison shot here, and she's definitely not as complex as Hot Rod either, so I'm not really putting that toward the budget. I would put the paint toward the budget. She is lavishly decoed. I think only the headlights are missing here. Very, very, very good job. This kind of throws everything out the window as far as those early leaks go. I've seen a lot of buzz about what the apparent Armada Starscream was going to be, if it was going to be a pre-tool of some other Seeker. But now all bets are off. It could be dead accurate. It could be someone else entirely. Who knows at this point? This is the part where you take every rumor with a grain of salt because sometimes they are way, way wrong. Yeah, this is probably the figure I am most anticipating right now. Even more so than Blitzwing, because Blitzwing looks kind of meh. Alright, moving on. So, Don Figueroa, legendary Transformers artist, posted a bunch of concept stuff from Dreamwave's G.I. Joe versus Transformers, or Transformers versus G.I. Joe, whichever way you want to put it around. And I loved this stuff. A lot more World War II design, a lot more G.I. Joe vehicle-based. I love this. I love this way better than the last G.I. Joe Transformer crossover comic. Oh, God. But there's some really cool ones. I love this old-timey police car done as Prowl. That we've never seen that vehicle done as a Transformer, so that alone is cool. Love the new take on Onslaught and the Combaticons. A little bit more of a interesting take on Megatron as a different style weapon. And Soundwave as an old handheld phone. Love it. Yeah, there's just some really clever work here. grenades that turn into Laserbeak and Ravage. That's kind of funny. Optimus Prime is this big AP, armored carrier. Almost said ABC. That would have been wrong. Yeah, just some really fun, imaginative designs I really wish got used. There's some really cool stuff here that I would have loved for some third-party character companies to have started making toys for. But we take it as it is. Just a fun little what if. Go check it out. There's a lot of really cool designs up. So, of designs that actually did come out in plastic form, we're starting to get in-hand shots of Super 7's Ultimate figures. We got a few. I'm focusing on Optimus Prime, but Bombshell has already been shown off as well. And it's weird to see because these seem to be a pretty mixed bag. I mean, you can see the shoulder articulation on Optimus Prime. Despite those big squared shoulders, he has a great range of posability there. Apparently the legs and elbows are a little bit more limited on him, though. That's mostly because they're trying to keep cartoon accurate. Meanwhile, over on Bombshell, it's the shoulders that have no articulation, which is really upsetting. Like, you would think, like, universally good articulation all the way around. And one thing that struck me about Prime is he's huge. Like, I don't know if you've had that Bebop from their Ultimates line. I've got it. I should have grabbed it from my shelf, but it's a huge figure. And if I can see, let's see, where's the comparison shots? There he is next to Voyager Bulkhead. He's way taller than a Voyager. And, yeah, now I can see why Red and Ultimates coexist. This is vastly different scale. Vastly different scale. I'm not sure if this makes me want it more. What makes me want it more is how fun the accessories for this toy are. So you've got the toy-accurate head, which looks good. You have the basketball, because that was a thing for an episode. And it's one of the things that humanizes the original Optimus and really kind of makes me say why he's better than any other. Because there's a little bit of dimension to him that the rest are lacking. The Energon chains from the debut episode of the Dinobots, surfboard, jetpack, of course. Lots of really fun stuff with this one that goes outside the normal accessories you get even with a high-end Optimus Prime. Might look into this one now. I might cave and grab it, but only it. I've already like neck deep in Ultimates Ninja Turtles. I don't need to splurge on any more Ultimates lines. One line I'm going to have to start dipping into is Shattered Glass because they're now showing off the package images of Ultra Magnus. I'm already loving this Magnus toy. This is, at the end of the day, like if the next time they do Ultra Magnus, I'm probably getting rid of the Kingdom one. Or I might anyway, because I still like my Combiner War Magnus best. But this is probably how I'm going to hang on to the mold, because I've always wanted a Delta Magnus. I love that is an additional head option. It is weird to me that they're doing Ultra Magnus Shattered Glass now, instead of waiting for the G2 Prime so they could have done it properly. I'm not complaining, though. Like, if this gives me Delta Magnus, I'm perfectly happy with that. And yeah, just like any of the other Shattered Glass items, he looks really, really good. I like that he comes with extra accessories, and yeah, the box is just super slick. So, looking forward to this being like, this is the first time I'm going to pick up anything from the Shattered Glass subline. So, I'm actually really looking forward to this one. Moving on, there's a lot of leaks. There's a lot of early reviews and toy leaks now, so we're just going to quickly take a look through. I don't want to focus on them too long. But, they're out there, so it's just, like, silly not to talk about them. So first off, we do have some actual, like, comparison shots now for our new Knockout, and I'm shocked at how much is changed. You can see the shoulders and biceps are the same. The midsection and the pelvis are the same, and so are the lower legs, the shins. Everything else on him is completely new. Maybe not the hands. The hands are probably the same too. But there's a ton of resculpting to make Knockout work from that Jazz mold. It's still a G1 style Knockout, to be sure. But hey, it looks way more solid than the original. Definitely looks better, if not more accurate, definitely more solid. At least as and we've kind of gone over this tirade before. It's not really surprising to see G1 style characters from other toy lines. Not only so they could actually be, retools and remolds of existing figures or pre-tools, but also just because, you know, that way they fit in aesthetically with the current lineup. We still have to kind of take it in fact that there's still kids that are still the primary audience for Transformers, and things have to match and look like they go along with each other for their sake. Obviously, we would want everything to be accurate, but this is at least not a bad holdover. At the very least, the vehicle mode, I think, looks really, really good. So, take it for what it is. See, Elita 1 was next, and we get to see just how different she is from her predecessors. Yeah, she looks way better. You can see she's got quite a bit more bulk to her. She didn't lose any size. Maybe a hair's worth of height, but that's about it. Really loving how this toy's come together. Yeah, vehicle mode still looks nice and solid. Looks very different. I like that they kept her head poking out of it, even if it's a fake little version of it. These images did give us one shot that Hasbro was trying to avoid, which is the shot of her back. If I can get to that. So you can see just how much of her car does fold up onto her back. It is quite a bit, but it's certainly not the level of the RC or the previous Elita 1 retool. She looks a lot better, and it definitely uses a lot more of her own natural bulk to create the vehicle mode. Very much appreciate that. Really looking forward to this one. I really want to get her in hand to see how she feels in person. And then, moving on, Wild Rider. We got another Stunticon, and he's looking fine. He's got a big backpack because of how he has to combine onto Menasor. It doesn't look like it hurts him too much, and it's a far more accurate attempt at the character than the previous one. And I like the Combiner War one, but again, like I am one of those, it's going to be a stickler for accuracy. If I can have accuracy, I'd rather have accuracy. So this is probably one I will be switching up to eventually. And at some point, yeah, saying goodbye to my Combiner War version, and we'll just grab these instead. I will admit, like using your phone to show the comparison, that's actually not a bad idea. And then let's see, one more. Tarantulas also got dropped. My God, this toy looks so good. It looks so freaking good. I mean, the only criticism I could levy looking at it right here is maybe the claws are too small. Maybe the claws are too small, and maybe the thighs should have had the stripes painted on, because those are kind of fake. They're not actually part of the beast mode's bulk. But it looks so good. So good. I mean, if that's the consequence, if that was what we had to do to wait for it, we had to wait a little bit for Tarantulas to come out so it could look that good, I'm perfectly okay with that. The designers for Hasbro admitted he is not a retooling of Black Arachnia. Reuses some of the engineering scheme, but that is it. Literally the only component they share, according to them, is the gun. That's literally the only part the two have in common. And I do like that it comes with the buzzsaw, a little touch to his transmetal form. Though I still hope the transmetals see the light of day again, whether they are remolds without the back chrome or brand new figures. Hasbro, you said we don't know how exactly to pull off the chrome. Don't pull off the chrome. Just make transmetals and don't use vac metal. We don't want vac metal anymore. Metallic paint's fine. All right. I'm starting to incorporate a few third-party stories when one catches my eye. So in this case, we're going to be talking about this drift by Metagate. This is Metagate's Haiku. It's doing a Age of Extinction triple changing drift, which is extremely ambitious. All right, and to their credit, the robot mode looks pretty good. If we, down to the back, it looks super clean. We look down to the vehicle mode. This is still a prototype, as you can see, but aside from the back being a little bit broken up, that's a convincing Bugatti. That's actually a really good job. All right. And then we get to the, oh, God. So we do acknowledge that what Drift is doing in the movie is physically impossible, right? Right? So, there's, literally no way that triple changer actually works and functions, and they tried. It doesn't really look like a cohesive helicopter. Now, paint's going to help it because I can see the canopy of the cockpit, you know, but I can also see a huge amount of gaps where they're trying to form the bulk of the helicopter. I can see the reverse side of the hands from robot mode and the thumbs hanging off. I can see a lot of just really, really odd details. They tried. They tried, and that's all I can say. I think the fact that they have even this rough semblance of a helicopter out of these other two modes, I think even that is commendable. But it's also a situation of, did you really have to try? Maybe this wasn't meant to exist in the real world. Just maybe. Just maybe. Hopefully the final version looks a little bit cleaner. I could especially use some work on that rotor. But beyond this, yeah, this is just, it's impressive and amusing at the same time. Like, unintentionally amusing, but also kind of impressive. So, I'm not sure how to take it. Maybe it'll look better in color. I don't know. Let's see. Moving on to something that is official third party, we have the Flame Toys Leo Prime now in photo. The packaging art on this thing looks absolutely incredible. They've kind of gone back to the stylings they did for the original Optimus Prime mold that they came up with, which is much more angular, much more anime aesthetic. And on Optimus Prime, I didn't think that actually worked. I'm actually sitting on that version in both Shattered Glass and Nemesis color schemes on the model kits, and I was waiting for them to do one or the other out of the G1 mold so I could have each version of Optimus Prime done up, you know, and built. And they're not doing it, and it's driving me nuts. Oh well. But it really works here on Leo Prime, Lio Convoy. Putting a swordsman aesthetic to him, reimagining the lion head as a shield, adding the cape, like, super cool. Yeah, this looks really, really good. I'm not sure if I'm in love enough with Lio Convoy to actually grab this, because I think this one's going to be a bit more expensive compared to some of their other kits, but it's definitely a really cool look. Definitely a really cool look. And finally, one more licensed item to discuss because it amused me. Duckies! You can now have the cutest little ducks ever to be more than meets the eye. These are from Tubbz, these little pop culture rubber ducky toys that get produced. Credit to them. This is a very... working a rubber duck aesthetic into something that's supposed to actually look and resemble the original Transformer characters is pretty ambitious, and the fact that they pull it off this well is actually really cool. Prime doesn't really, like, convey duck from the front. The back, yeah, you get that little tail, but, like, the idea of trying to turn a faceplate into a bill doesn't quite work here. I think if it came out a little bit farther, maybe. If it flattened out, maybe. Like, this shot right here just looks like Optimus Prime buried in the sand. Like, this shot especially, that just looks like Prime buried in the sand. But it's amusing, it's cute, it's definitely something that people are going to want as a novelty, so, like, I'm into this. Like, this is fun. This is fun. I like these. So that's going to be it for my little bit of news roundup, just in case anyone was wondering what I thought of all the stuff that came out. I know people were yelling at me about Override because Cybertron. Yeah, I saw. People were also yelling at me over the Star Saber video that came out. It was like 40 minutes long showing off that toy. I don't think there's anything... When a video about one toy is 40 minutes long, I don't think there's anything I can add to that discussion. It's an amazing video. Go watch it. But for this stuff, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything you guys do and all the ways you support me. And I love still being able to keep doing this for you guys. So thank you once again for allowing me to do this. And I hope to keep doing it. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.